Hello, it's Donna on the beach here. Today I'm going to talk about every part of everybody having a positive intention. And this is in response to a question about the inner critic. You know, that little voice in your head that tells you that you suck, that you're stupid, that you're no good, that you're lazy. If you're in the UK, you might have seen the adverts about the gremlin, the one that sits on the shoulder going, "You can't do that, you can't." And there's a lot of kind of strategies for dealing with that inner critic and dealing with the gremlin. One of which is just to tell it to shut up. But ultimately, I think it's useful to just remember that every part of everybody has a positive intention, and that includes your inner critic or your gremlin or that voice inside your head that tells you you're a complete idiot. Most of us kind of, because it's a critical voice, we either pay far too much attention to it and believe when it says that, you know, we can't do anything, which is wrong. Of course we can, you know, that's just one voice, you don't have to listen. Or we just try and ignore it, and we put so much energy into ignoring it that we waste a lot of our energy. So here's what I suggest. Have a little word with your inner critic, not to tell it to shut up, not to tell it you know, that you hate it or whatever, just to find out what the positive intention is. And my inner critic, for example, the positive intention of my inner critic is usually motivation. And I always laugh when I say that, because I'm not particularly motivated by someone telling me that I'm stupid, that I suck, that I am pointless, that I'm lazy. That's not motivating. But that's the positive intention of my inner critic. And when I remember that, I think, okay, it's trying to help. It's doing it badly, but it's trying to help. And I can say to my inner critic, look, that's not motivating me. That's not helpful. If you want to motivate me, build me up, be nice to me. And what I've found is that with clients and with me, the more that I recognise the positive intention behind what the voice is saying, the more I can quiet that voice, and the more I can change that voice to fulfill that positive intention without the criticism. So other things, it's not always motivation. Sometimes it's to keep you safe. A lot of clients, when they're asked that question, what's the positive intention of that inner critic, and it wants to keep them safe, it will say, oh, you can't do that, you can't do that, because it's scared for them. And that's kind of, again, unhelpful, but really sweet. It's a really sweet intention. And again, you can say to your inner critic, you know, oh, thank you. Thank you for wanting to keep me safe, but actually I'll be happier if you do it this way. And again, there's like a moment of compassion for that part of you. And the trouble is, when you call it a gremlin, when you call it an inner critic, when you call it the voice in your head, you kind of separate yourself from it. And it's part of you. You know, all of us have a light and a dark side. All of us can be immensely generous and immensely selfish. All of us can be immensely arsey. I hold my hand up for that one. And also immensely lovely. I hold my hand up for that one too. You know, it's all part of you. And why not accept that part? You know, it's doing, much as we all are, your inner critic is doing its best. It's trying to do a job for you. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you motivated. It's trying to keep you happy. And okay, it's doing it in a really bad way. But isn't it like, have you ever had like an interfering parent or spouse or friend who interferes incessantly, and when you eventually lose it and call them on it, they go, oh, but I was only trying to help. And you think, oh, but you're not helping. And that's the way it is with the inner critic, gremlin, voice inside your head. It's actually trying to do something for you. And the more that you can see that, the more that you can have passion for it, if you like, but compassion was what I meant to say. The more that you can have compassion for it, and the more that you can kind of accept it and go, okay, it's not doing a very good job, but you know, maybe I do this with my family or with my friends, that when I'm trying to motivate them, that I'm not exactly always on the money with my comments. You know, don't know if you've ever had this with family particularly, probably, where you're asking someone to do something or you're trying to motivate them and you're basically calling them names. I think we've all done it. And again, we get it from our parents and our peers, and there's no blame here because everyone's doing their best. And that's the whole point of this. You know, the inner critic has something useful to show you. And my inner critic is really good at showing me when I am being mean to me. Because my inner critic will be first in line, not because it's particularly mean, but because its positive intention is to keep me motivated. And that's often when I'm being mean to myself. It's like, work harder, get up earlier, do more, work later, you know, be at your desk 365 days a year. How dare you have holiday, you know? And it reminds me, when my inner critic's busy, I'm kind of, okay, I'm not really taking care of myself here, am I? So, I apologise for being enormously bright. After I started this video, the sun came out and I was not able to adjust the brightness halfway through. So I do actually have features, you just can't see them. So I hope that you will have a little chat with your inner critic or gremlin or voice inside your head and just ask, what's the positive intention that you have for me? Have some compassion for it. And teach it how to fulfill that positive intention without being horrible. Because at the moment, this inner critic stroke gremlin stroke voice inside your head is just doing its best with the limited information that it's got. And you know, we don't learn how to successfully motivate people unless we're very lucky, you know. We just get it from outside, and teachers telling you off and telling you you're lazy and telling you you haven't done your homework and so on. So that's where it gets it from. It just needs more positive role models, and you can't tell what it needs and how it needs to be and how it needs to behave and the job description that you want it to fulfill unless you find out what that positive intention is. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that's understandable. If you have any questions at all about this, if you are sitting there thinking, I have no idea what you're talking about, please get in touch, either in a comment, just leave me a comment, or email me. It's donna@donnaonthebeach.co.uk. I would love to hear from you. Take really good care. Bye. Mwah.